Hi, everybody. This is Noah with ERS. I am sitting here talking with Sal Longo from Busy Bee Jumpers in Boston, Massachusetts, and I'm really excited for this conversation. Thank you so much for joining us today, Sal.
Thank you very much. I'm happy to be here.
Great. So, first question that I have for you is pretty simple. How did you get into the business?
So when I was 18 years old, a good friend of mine introduced me to my business partner, Jim Coffey. My friend was a delivery driver for his company, Busy Bee, and I came on, worked as a delivery assistant, and then eventually moved up to delivery driver, event coordinator, and I want to say 6 or 7 years after I started working for Jim. I think I was 24. I was 24. I became his business partner, and we've been together now. This is our 21st year working together, 15th or 16th as partners.
Wow, nice. That's quite a track record. I knew you guys had been together for a while, but I did not know it was quite that long. That's really cool.
Yeah, a long time. It's a very special bond that him and I share, and it's been an amazing ride.
Sweet. Well, so tell me about the kind of the process because you guys are, the one of the biggest companies in the country at this point, and you're really at the top of a very competitive market. I imagine that didn't happen overnight, right? So what was it like when you first started at the company? In that regard, how has the growth kind of gone over the years, and kind of tell me, I guess maybe some of the growing pains too, right? I mean, in
Sure,
all of those times, I'm sure it
sure.
wasn't all a bed of roses, right? So,
No,
yeah. So, tell me about that process?
thanks. Yeah, Jim and I have a saying that growth is pain. It's one of those things that everybody, when working for themselves or working for a business, wants to grow the business, but it comes with a bunch of challenges and a bunch of obstacles and hurdles that you have to be flexible and patient to overcome. When him and I started together, this was a secondary business, or maybe even a third business for Jim. He's extremely entrepreneurial. He owns daycares with his wife. He also
Mhm.
owns a bunch of real estate. He had opened up the jumper business as another stream of income to his portfolio of businesses.
Hmm.
And I was lucky enough to get in during its infancy. At the time, I believe he was probably employing roughly 10 guys, and had a couple trucks and 20 or 30 inflatables, and was servicing probably a 20-mile radius. Was providing unbelievable customer service, and Jim, just second to none, had the best work environment I had ever been in as a young man.
Hmm.
I started with him when I was 18, as I mentioned earlier, and there was something infectious about the attitude of all the guys. Something infectious about his leadership. He was extremely positive. Um, it was just a place that I wanted to be. I wanted to work as many hours as possible. And throughout my time through college, I always, in the back of my mind, thought, how could I be a part of this? How could we grow this bigger? How could we take this essentially mom and pop business to something bigger, better, and really challenge ourselves? And luckily, when I was 24, a couple of years out of college, I had presented Jim the idea to expand his delivery range up to Boston and some affluent towns west of Boston. And
Hmm.
Jim, being a visionary and extremely entrepreneurial, accepted my offer, my request, and served as a mentor for me throughout my first couple years in business, and still does today. Him and I have an office next to each other, and we speak frequently about the different challenges we're facing in our businesses, and remaining patient through those challenges, and staying current because the world is ever changing.
Hmm. Ain't that the truth?
Yeah, it is. It is. So, yeah, we're very lucky. We have a fleet of just shy of 40 vehicles
Hmm.
during our peak months. Being in Boston, the weather is, our adversary, but also, something that we rely on, because I believe that down during our down months, it allows us a lot of time to plan and prepare to have these successful seasons and go 120 miles an hour. I had our general manager, Kylie, put a couple posts up yesterday to show some of the volume that we produce in June, for example, which is typically our biggest month. And for us to get 800 different deliveries out every week requires a lot of planning, a lot of logistics, a lot of manpower. It didn't happen overnight. That this has been a labor of love for Jim, myself, and probably 25 of our core staff, our nucleus.
Hmm.
When we get super busy in May, when the weather starts to get nice here in Boston, we can employ as many as 125 young men and women, both in our call center and down in our warehouse, as well as out on the road delivering and picking up the equipment for us, servicing our functions.
Mm-hmm.
We've seen challenges over the years. The safety is our number one priority.
Mm-hmm.
We always want to make sure the pieces are set up properly. We don't want ever any accidents, because that could be detrimental to our business and all the hard work we've put in. We want to make sure our products are clean. We want to make sure that our guys are representing our company in the way that we had treated it when it was smaller, because as we grow and you stretch the amount of drivers you have, right? Quality can stretch also, but we put so much pride and passion and effort into communicating with our guys that I believe that is the single number one factor that separates us from a lot of our local competitors is the passion, not only from myself, from Jim, from some of our managers, Kylie, Mickey, Graham, Woody, Connor, Owen, Kim. I can name these guys for a while. They're here early in the morning. They work late, and they always have a smile on their face, and that is infectious. Our young guys come in here, and they're anxious to work. They're anxious to climb the ladder and do things, and they see the company growing. And over time, some of these guys who have came on with us in high school or even college have now found full-time positions with us.
Hmm.
And I would say, as the owner of the company, one of the things I'm most proud of is I have been to probably 5 or 6 Busy Bee weddings where people have worked with us,
Nice.
got married, bought a house, had children, and now rely on us, as their main stream of income, and they're moving on with their lives, which is just, for me, it's probably the most fulfilling part of this job for me is seeing people grow and giving them the opportunity to stay with us and create a really prosperous life for themselves and their family.
Right. Yeah, those are the kinds of moments that, as they say, kind of make it all worth it, right?
Absolutely.
So that was going to be one of my other questions to you, is kind of tell me about some of those moments. And you already did that, right, with those weddings. I
Sure.
guess maybe tell me, a couple of moments maybe at events as well, like maybe
Sure.
parents or kids who were really happy with their parties.
Yeah.
It's always good to get a refresher and hear people's stories about why they're doing what they're doing,
Yeah.
So what are some of your favorite stories about, great weddings that you went to, or great events that you had, maybe times where a kid was really happy with their party. Maybe they had
Sure.
gone through some stuff or whatever, Yeah, I'll shut up and let you speak now.
That's okay. I would say first, my most special moment, as a memory outside of work here that ties into Busy Bee was my wedding. I got married in 2018 to my wife, and I had, I think, 55 to possibly 60 of our staff, at both past and present, at our wedding.
Nice.
And during Jim, my business partner, was my best man. And he got up there and gave a speech, and he said, if you've ever had a relationship with Sal through Busy Bee, would you please stand up? And next thing you know, half the room stood up out of 150
Right.
guests. And I just remember us dancing on the dance floor, and just kind of enjoying all our hard work. We're always putting on events for people. And for us to celebrate my wife and myself's, marriage was just something, to me, just very heartwarming, very special. And it was just a memory I'll never forget. Most recently, my daughter turned 1, and we had a party at my house in my backyard that was just over the top. My wife, I let her plan it from start to finish, everything from white bounce houses to our tents, pizza wagons, you name it. And I had about 150 guests there. And it was just another day. I cut the day short for a lot of our core staff so that they could come celebrate with us. And
Right.
just seeing the 20 plus years of work here and in friendships that have remained throughout that whole time has just been really, really special. Just having everybody at my house celebrating my daughter, my wife, and being there for me was just really heartwarming. One of my best friends, Woody, got married to a woman that he met who worked in our call center. I want to say 4 or 5 years ago. Another wedding of 20, 30 Busy Bee guys and girls. It's a really, even though we're a larger company with north of 125 people, we really try and keep a family bond. It's just extremely special in the mornings when we see each other. There's a lot of fist bumps. There's a lot of, hey, what's up? Last night was awesome. And the camaraderie here is just, it's a locker room like environment that I really, really enjoy. And I know that people enjoy it as well. One of the things I'm probably most proud of that I can think about with our company is my partner Jim and I have never ever put out any job inquiries or requests. People come here based on referrals, and that's something that I hold really near and dear to my heart. These people want to work. They're coming to us saying, "Hey, do you have any jobs open? I'll be in the warehouse. I'll work on the road. I'll clean pieces all day and move up the ladder." And to me, that's really special. You know, that says that we've created an environment that people want to work at. You know, with that comes a lot of responsibility, right? We can't sit here and say, "Hey, we're doing fantastic. Let's take our foot off the gas here." We still put a lot of effort in every day because we don't want to slow down, and we don't want to lose that momentum that we've worked tirelessly for. I can tell you so many times getting in at 4:30 in the morning, 4 in the morning with Jim, Woody, Graham, Connor, all these guys, Kylie, Mickey, Kevin, all these guys have helped make this place so special by going that extra mile, by simply communicating with them saying, "Hey, we've got a big weekend coming up. I need you guys." And they're there. They want to pull the rope with us. And what I've realized is when you got 10 guys, 20 guys that want to pull the rope in the same direction, that can just really move things in a really positive direction. And, you know, we're lucky right now to be really enjoying the fruits of our labor.
Nice. Yeah, I'm very actually surprised to hear you say that you guys never put out job postings. That's going to be one of my next questions is how do you guys hire and retain? And that really is actually a testament to how good of a company that you have if you're actually not having to post listings. So I'm really impressed by that. And so actually to get a little bit more specific with that, I do remember you telling me not just now, but also a couple years back when we were at ERSCon in Las Vegas. I remember you and Jim talking about the work atmosphere that you have there and how, you know, you got to put on a happy face, right? Like you might be having problems in your personal life or whatever, but you got to leave it at the door. Just kind of, you know, that was, I guess, going to be my question is how do you guys do that? Because I think that we live in a day and age where people, you know, the term emotional intelligence is something that people know nowadays, right? And so there's a little bit more of an expectation that people are going to be able to talk about their feelings and whatnot, and that's a good thing fundamentally, but it can definitely also go awry, right? So how do you keep those boundaries? How do you practice it yourself? How do you set that good example when you're not feeling your best? And how do you gently make sure that things aren't going too far in that direction of this is therapy? You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. Exactly. So I'll remember, and I'll date things back to when I was 18 and I came to this job environment, and luckily we've kept a lot of these principles intact, and I think, you know, worked at them, you know, very, very hard over the years. When I came on to Busy Bee with a smaller workforce, Jim led by example. He was here first. He shut the lights off. He was always positive with us. And I think most important was he was patient. Everybody's going to make mistakes. And I think that's something that it doesn't matter if you're a bounce house operator, if you own a landscape business, a construction company, mistakes are going to happen, right? It's all about how do you deal with them. I never look at problems as, oh shit, it's all over. We got big problems here. We can't fix these. I always look at it and say, hey, we've got all these solutions in front of us. Let's pick the one that's going to best fit this situation, and let's implement it, and let's make things happen. I know from my time working for Jim, I'm sometimes a lot to handle. I'm the emotional one in the office. I wear my emotions on my sleeve. You can see it in my face. I'm happy, sad, and everything in between several times throughout the day. But watching Jim be patient with me really made me, and his constant mentorship made me want to be better for our staff and our employees. I think, you know, how lucky am I? I'm 38 years old that I've got 120, 125 staff that's going to show up on a Friday, Saturday, Sunday, or even a Monday morning, anywhere in the range of 4:45, 5 a.m. to 6:30 and not be late. With all the outside distractions world, all the partying they can do, all the different activities, the social media, it's amazing to me that through our positive environment, these guys want to show up, and girls want to work with us, want to produce and put some good work forward so that the team can move forward. It's just, I think it's leading by example. I think that a lot of times when you're in a position of leadership, I don't think that people understand the responsibility you have, that you can really, really, really hurt someone's feelings and emotions by not reacting properly to the situation.
Yeah.
I remember maybe my first or second year in business, I had a really difficult, tough client that was really just giving me an earful, just
Mm,
wanted to get a piece of me, and I didn't know how to handle it.
mm,
I looked at Jim. I said, "Hey, Jim, what would you do here?" He said, "Don't answer him. Sleep on it."
right.
So I said, "Okay." I told the woman, I said, "Please let me call you tomorrow. We'll get this all situated." And it was amazing. That piece of advice, sitting there, pausing, taking a time out, let me gather my emotions. Let me think about the situation. I then spoke with the woman the next day, calmed her down. I was calm myself. And
Hmm.
next, we had a customer that we could move forward with. I,
Nice.
I, I always pride myself on taking the hard clients and turning them into good clients, because what is
Nice.
it? It's a different level of expectation of the service that they want.
Hmm.
I'm a tough client in my own right. I know my partner Jim is, and what it is we have a very strong expectation. By us communicating with our staff, hey, this woman is very type A. She wants that piece super clean. She wants it a certain type of way in her yard, and she does not want it any later than 10 a.m. These guys say, okay, great. Sal's already informed me of the situation, right? So giving them the information, the tools to succeed. They go out there and they're not blindsided by someone who could be a little type A, a little intense. So I think that by preparing our staff to never be blindsided by emotions and constantly staying positive with them has really built a lot of trust. I think, like, to go back, when I first started working with Jim, he trusted us to drive his trucks.
Hmm.
He showed a lot of integrity. Anytime it was Friday, the checks were always there waiting for us, right?
Hmm.
There was never any question. If I ever missed a punch out time, he was never, drilling me on what time did you punch out. If I told him it was 4:30 p.m., he said 4:30 p.m. Sal's honest to me, I'm honest to him, and
Hmm.
it built a lot of trust that is infectious, right? It's one of those things that I think the biggest asset a company can have is not the mods, not the combos, not the water slides, but their people, right?
Hmm.
When I think about marketing, I think that, Google AdWords is fantastic. Facebook is amazing. Retargeting your existing customers, however you want to hit them, is super important.
Hmm.
But also training your staff. When your staff goes out there and looks presentable and has a smile on their face and looks the client in the eye and shakes their hand and does a good job for them and puts that extra little effort in to clean the piece on site in front of them, that just leaves the client feeling just that much more important, feeling that they got their money's worth and there is value in our service. And I truly think that by preparing our staff in open communication, that's been instrumental in our growth and staying at the level that we've been operating at for the last 10 years.
Right. Yeah, that makes total sense to me. We've got a couple of viewer questions. So one of them was, did you take on loans at the beginning?
So that's a great question. My first year in business with Jim, I personally self-funded the purchase of some equipment
Hmm.
to put some skin in the game. And Jim and I, after my first successful year in business with him, went to a small lender, got a small loan, and started buying some equipment. Through our growth, over the past 10 years, our ability to lend money and borrow money has been absolutely instrumental in our growth. Our credit union actually did a feature on our business.
Oh, cool.
Yes, yeah, for the growth that we've had. They control all the vehicle loans, all the equipment loans with us. They did the loan for our new facility that we bought roughly 2.5 years ago. They've also helped Jim and I with our secondary business, which is buying commercial real estate. And through the help of them, it's Liberty Bay Credit Union. They're a small credit union out of Braintree, just south of Boston. One of
Hmm.
my really good friends, one of my best friends, Paul Gravalese, has helped us exponentially be able to scale the business and grow.
Gotcha. So then we've got another question that kind of relates to that. Do you buy your trucks or lease them?
Yep. So we actually do a blend. We have found that the blend is super important. So being in Boston or just south of Boston, our business is extremely seasonal.
Hmm.
What happens to us is we start to get hot in April, the end of April, really warm in May, and then screaming hot June, July, August. We
Right.
then start to cool down September through October and shut down in middle of November, just before Thanksgiving.
Mm-hmm.
By leasing those trucks from a rental company for June, July, and August during our peak months, that allows us to offset some costs. If we're not as busy as expected, we can always return the trucks. There's no return fee on them.
Mm.
And then based on our growth at the end of the year, we always assess what business we've done, the benefit of buying trucks. We own, of the roughly 40 trucks we operate a day, we own just shy of 30 of them ourselves.
Mm. Okay.
Yeah, and lease
Yeah.
them.
So, I hadn't actually thought of it in these terms until you
A
started
great
talking about
question.
it, but
A great question.
yeah, it is absolutely. Well, and like I said, I hadn't really thought about it in these terms until the question was brought up and you started to answer it in terms of, a car is typically a depreciating asset, or well,
Mhm.
not asset, right? It's a depreciating.
Mhm.
What's the term for that financially? It's not an asset, right? Because it doesn't appreciate in value. So, I guess it had never really occurred to me to think of it in business terms like that, right? It's
Mhm.
still you still probably can save money sometimes by buying, but then, like you said, you need that flexibility to be able to lease some of your vehicles
Correct.
since the work is so seasonal. So, I guess it's sort of a blending of those different imperatives, right? Do I kind of get that right?
Yeah, so I know that through our time lending with different banks, they like to see our balance sheet. They want to see what our assets are, what our liabilities are. They want to
Mm-hmm.
see cash on hand. They want to see our gross profit. They want to look at, they want to dial into the details and look at our KPIs. They want to see, are we erroneously spending in any areas, and where are our retained earnings for the season. I know that through our time growing, and again, I give my business partner Jim a ton of credit for this.
Mm-hmm.
He is very fiscally conservative. He's got a great vision for the future, and he
Mm-hmm.
taught me young not to overspend. At all those different trips to IAAPA, when I wanted to buy everything on the floor and
Yeah.
more,
Yeah.
he would handcuff me and say, "Hey, let's talk about this over a glass of wine after we get off the floor." And he would explain to me, "Let's not buy everything in sight. What's going to make us money? What's going to work on our
Right.
balance sheet? What fits our inventory model?" And I truly appreciate that guidance in leadership. Watching him grow his other businesses, it's been instrumental in us executing at this level for Busy Bee Jumpers.
Right. Right. Yeah. IAPA can definitely be intoxicating. I remember the first time
Absolutely.
that I went, and I still get that little thrill.
Same here.
The first couple,
Same here.
a couple minutes, you're like,
Yeah.
"Whoa! I want everything here."
Yeah. Yeah. Same here. I love it. There's something about the energy when you hit the floor and you see all the beautiful bright lights, the colors.
Yeah.
You get to see people from the industry. It's probably my favorite week of the year
Mm-hmm.
for the season, because it signifies, hey, the season's winding down. Time to start preparing for another year. I can assess all the things that we did well. Also look at all the things that we can improve on, things we didn't do well. So it's a really special time of year.
Right. Now, are you and Jim going to be there this year, or one of you?
Yes, yeah, I plan on going. Jim has a pretty busy travel schedule. I'm not sure what his plans are. I haven't discussed with him. I'm going to be bringing a couple of our managers. We have a couple things on our hit list that we want to dial in and figure out so that we can keep improving and tighten up our efficiencies.
Nice. Well, I look forward to seeing you there. I'll
Nice.
be
You
there.
too, my friend. Yeah, we love seeing everybody at the ERS booth. That's probably one of my favorite parts, is getting to communicate with the different operators in the business. For me, I'm a sports guy. I love passion. I love
Mm-hmm.
seeing people that own their business and just thrive off of the long hours, the hard days. Because for me, there is nothing more rewarding than putting in a long day, a long week, a long season, and then seeing the benefits of that hard work, right? That's something, when I look back, it makes it all worth it for me. It's just like
Yep.
being a parent at home with my daughter. Some nights I'm up super late with her. My wife is up late with her, but seeing her grow is just unbelievable. It's something
Right.
that, for me, I'll sleep when I'm 6 feet under.
Yeah. Yeah. I hear that. Yeah. That's the story of my life right there. Um, so, one last question about that kind of relates to trucks. We've got a user had asked us, why do you use box trucks versus trailers? What are
Great question.
what are the pros and cons in your view?
Sure. Yeah, we operate out of our 30 vehicles we own. We own 5 truck and trailers and 25 box trucks. The truck
Mm-hmm.
and trailers are great for us because We have several gentlemen that can drive them, but also they pair up in the off season for us and they plow our commercial properties.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So for us personally, working in an urban environment such as Boston, I enjoy the box trucks better, especially the cab over. You can see we have a lot of Isuzus and the rider rentals. They just have a tighter turning radius, and they're just easier for our guys to drive and navigate. Personally, if you ask me, I would drive a box truck 10 out of 10 times. If you get the proper clearance on the box, you can fit dunk tanks in them and large pieces of equipment. I have had better luck with box trucks and maintaining them and safety as well. Trailers, there's a couple times we've lost a trailer on the highway that shot off into the woods, and that has scared me to death.
Wow. Yeah, that is scary.
Yeah. Yep.
So we've got a couple of other questions that sort of kind of intertwined with each other. So one of them is, what's your business model and how do you keep it efficient? And the other is essentially about profit margins, what percent of profit versus expenses, taxes, and marketing. And I think those questions are sort of intertwined. My understanding, at least last I spoke with you guys about this, was that you guys are doing mostly backyard events. You have your occasional corporate or church event or whatever, but that the bread and butter of your business really is backyard events.
Yes.
And I know that a lot of people kind of do seem to think that if you really want to grow and get big, that you have to pivot to more corporate and church events. But you guys are, living proof that that's not necessarily the case. So yeah, so tell us a little bit more about that. How have you, been able to grow, focusing mostly on backyard events? And yeah, if you don't mind, I know this is a little bit of a sensitive question, but as far as profit margins, percentages, how do you keep that up? And
sure. COVID, although detrimental to our business in 2020, was one of the best learning curves that we could have faced. And I think it allowed us at the beginning of the season to have to lock down, really, really assess all the efficiencies we had, all the things that we weren't doing well. And what I found was right now, currently we're operating at a 90%, maybe even close to 95% backyard rentals to 5% events. And what I realized for the events were very labor intensive, really tough on our guys, a lot of hours. It took a specific type of staff, some of our core staff, some of our more trained staff, to not only set up, but manage and operate and then break down these events. Whereas what we found with the efficiency of the backyard party rentals were very quickly we could train guys to go deliver mods, combos, water slides, even our tents. And we just after COVID, when all the big events shut down, started really focusing on backyard events. We had always focused on them in the past, but put a hyper focus on them because none of the large events were taking place. And we really expanded that area of our business the last 24 months. And it led to a lot of an exponential amount of growth.
Gotcha.
It's been a great way for us to scale our business. I think to your point, there are a lot of big mechanical rides out there, Euro bungees, Ferris wheels that can really fetch high tickets from a client. But it takes a really specific guy to set it up. He has to have proper training, proper licensing, proper insurance. Right. Whereas the mods, combos, the backyard, the obstacle courses, things like that, they can be set up by anywhere from an older high school kid, senior year high school guy through college, or even our weekend warriors that come in for second paychecks on the weekends with us.
Right. So we've got let's see here. I believe it was Nikki Hine who was asking if you guys ever allow shadowing or a day visit with a look behind the scenes. So I think what I'm taking from that is, have you guys ever, it sounds like maybe you did that with the media recently, right? Because they actually featured you guys. So
so our credit union came and did a day spotlight on us, which was amazing. We've had a couple local news outlets come by and film our warehouse and our products and our staff working, which has been really special to us, and I take as a huge honor. We've had some other guys from the industry pop by during our off season, or even during our I'll say shoulder months, the April, May. A couple of our friends from Atlanta came up, Pennsylvania came over here. I really enjoyed the trip. I love communicating with any of the operators in the industry. It's really unique for me to see how other people operate and run their business. I necessarily don't think there's ever a right or wrong way to operate our business of bounce houses. I think to go back to it, I was thinking about this a lot last night. I woke up early this morning because sometimes I don't know, sometimes I just don't sleep well, and it was probably 3:30 in the morning, 4 in the morning. I was kind of thinking about what differentiates Busy Bee versus our other local competitors, and I truly believe this is what differentiates anyone in any business across the country. It doesn't matter if you're an event business, construction business, paving company, landscaper. It's passion. It's passion and attitude, right? So if you have a passion to grow your business and be on site and be there, good things are going to happen, right? It's just like parenting. I always remember Jim told me this. He's got 4 beautiful kids, married to his high school sweetheart. I said, what makes you such a great dad? He said, I'm there. I put my kids to bed. I'm there when they wake up, and then I go to work for the day. And I learned a lot from that. For me, I wanted to emulate that with our business. I said, I want to be the first one there with the lights on. I'll turn them off. And I want to greet everybody coming in the door and leaving. And I believe that passion, regardless if you have mods, combos, obstacle courses, can set you on a path that, it's you can reach whatever ceiling you want to go to. You can go as high as you'd like.
Right. Yep. I agree. So Richard had asked if you could explain your no mercy marketing strategy. I'm really curious about this.
Is that my friend Richard Clark?
I'm guessing it is. He just said Richard, but yeah, it sounds like a Richard Clark question.
That's awesome. He's a great guy. Unbelievable resource. Him, Dave Duthu, Jeremy. We work with Dave Barnes. Everybody at ERS, amazing. I love tapping into their brain and hearing their expertise in their specific field, whether it's AdWords, SEO, email marketing, Facebook, simple even layout and website speed and conversions, right? Jeremy's put together some amazing stuff lately about website speed. For me, I look at it as if there's oxygen out there, I want to take it, whether it's on Google, whether it's a potential rental. I will tell you, one of the things that we put that calendar up last night when the girls put it up, we hit 399 rentals in one day. That wasn't 399 pieces. Some of those events had 12, 15 units at it. And I'll tell you, the guys will reiterate this in the office. I was pissed. I wanted 400. I wanted 500. So I set the goal for them next year. I want to hit 500 rentals in a day.
Nice.
And we've purchased a ton of equipment in hopes of achieving that for next year. It's something that we strive for, right? It's beautiful to have goals. And if you don't meet them, just keep trying. And so to that no mercy advertising marketing strategy, I try and exhaust all options. And I've done some stuff, and Jim and I have done some stuff that has been unbelievably hugely successful. And we've done some things that weren't successful. We have spent some crazy amounts of money on television ads and radio ads, print ads that just did not come to fruition for us. We've done some other stuff with our repeat customers that have been fantastic, that cost us significantly less. So
right. Gotcha. So Christopher Dorio is asking, what's the farthest distance, mileage, or time that you typically travel on a given weekend?
Thanks. It's about 75 miles from our warehouse. Boston traffic is horrific, one of the worst in the country. So our guys can hit the road as early as 5 or 5:15 in the morning, get to their first stop by 7. That's with gas and coffee on the way, which I expected them to stop and get fueled up. But yeah, about 75 miles. We service about 125 towns in Massachusetts.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, pretty wide delivery range. It's grown over time. As our fleet grew, as our product line grew, it allowed for us to expand anywhere from 10, 20, 25 towns a season. So it did not happen overnight. It's a culmination of 10 years of working hard, strategizing, and marketing those towns, because we don't want to say we service a town that we're not putting any marketing to. It would be inefficient for us.
Right. So somebody was asking, with that kind of mileage, how do you charge for delivery? Do you do travel fees, or do you just kind of increase your prices across the board?
Sure.
How do you handle that?
Sure. So I'm going to just turn my computer a little bit. You can actually see our delivery map behind us. We have fees starting at $30 for our local area, which is in the 10-mile radius, and extends up to $125 for the towns that are roughly 75 miles away. We work off an efficiency model. I would rather do 6 rentals in a town for $40 a piece than charge each one of them $80. I have found that by keeping our prices fair and competitive, with the industry in our local area, that's helped us exponentially with our growth and getting more and more rentals every season.
Gotcha. Yeah, I mean, I think that's one of those double-edged swords because I've been told a lot of times you don't want to charge too little because
Mm-hmm.
you attract the kinds of customers who are not going to they're gonna be difficult, and you're not going to
Mm-hmm.
be able to maintain a profit margin, right? If you can't pay your
Yeah,
bills, then you don't have a
exactly.
business, right? So
Exactly.
yeah, so it sounds like you guys have kind of found that sweet spot.
Correct. Yep. I think it's, I credit again Jim with this because I have my eyes are in the sky and I want to just grow as fast as we can. He slowed me down a couple times and said, hey, let's look at this from a systematic way. Let's grow in a slow, steady way so that we don't lose our quality. We keep our margins. And I appreciate that. I think
Hmm.
one of the things that I want to touch upon for anybody in this industry, I watched a podcast on this earlier this week, was finding a mentor. Someone, it doesn't have to be in the industry, but someone that you can learn from, someone that owns and operates their own business, has challenges from, hiring people, maintaining a healthy staff and work environment. Having a mentor for me has probably taken a 20-year business learning curve in business and probably shrunk it down at least half, at least
Right.
if not more. Jim is 20 years my senior.
Hmm.
Was in business, when I was not even, well, I don't even think I was born. And he was, working for himself. He's very entrepreneurial and started, I think, while I was actually in college.
Mm.
So I think by finding a mentor, it can really help streamline your vision and kind of get your goals in line and see what you can obtain and what you can kind of push towards.
Right. So, one of our viewers has asked, do you have a cleaning crew or do you clean um, at the on site? Sorry that things
Yeah,
moved around as
that's
people
okay.
comment more.
Yeah.
And do you have stagers in the morning?
Yes. So what we do is we have a cleaning crew. One of my best friends, Woody, and has several assistants outside. Guy Cameron, they are amazing. I have
Hmm.
the social media girls documented every morning. They're washing 10, 20, 30 units a day. Um, we also spot clean on site. I think that that's super important. I think it leaves the client feeling that they got some real value, that not only did they pay for delivery, we set the piece up for them, but we made sure it was shiny and spotless. Because everybody knows when you wipe down vinyl with a nice Lysol, it smells good, it looks good. And when it has that shine, it just leaves the client who's about to put their kids in there and all their kids' friends just feeling a little more satisfied. I know from my time as a delivery driver for many years, almost 10 years, I was on the road delivering. I would see the different reactions of clients based on my behavior. If I wasn't super chippy and cheery, right? This is a very special day to them. I know on my daughter's first birthday, I wanted everybody to come over, high five me. It was a very
Hmm.
special day, and I wanted it to be a positive environment. So our guys are cleaning here on site so that when it's set up, it's never, oh my God, this thing's a disaster. It's look how shiny it is. I'm going to give it one more wipe out to make sure it's perfect. Call us if you need anything. And,
Right.
and yeah.
Yeah, she's pretty adorable, man.
Yes.
Congratulations. You got through that first year.
Yeah, got through it. Been amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
It is amazing, isn't it? Just watching those little ones
It is.
grow. My
It is.
yeah, my son is 14 and my daughter is about to turn 12, and it's kind of like, where
Amazing.
did the time go? It's
Right?
uh you could say that I'm old, but let's not go there.
Yeah, right. But kids are special. And I think so prior to working for Jim full time, when I was in college, I worked as a project manager for a construction company.
Hmm.
And I got to see that industry in depth. We were building high rises in Boston, really
Oh,
sexy
wow.
job. Yep, awesome. I was out having steak dinners a couple times a week. I was really enjoying myself. I made a ton of great friends. I was working in really amazing high end locations, but I never felt like I was a part of something really special. It was just a
Hmm.
tough environment, really fast paced. It was always get it done, get it done, get it done, get it done. And I just always remember back to my weekends with Jim. I would always work part time with him, even when I was working full time for the construction company. Just how happy people were. Kids are innocent. There's something about them that they're just infectious. Their
Hmm.
personalities, they just are innocent and happy. And I see it with my daughter. When I blow a jumpy up in the backyard, or if I put a movie on the TV, how happy it makes her. That's what's so special about our industry. And I think everyone who is an owner operator can relate. Whether you have kids or not, there's just something special about being able to be a part of someone's special day, special event. It's different than being a roofer, being a carpenter, mowing
Hmm.
someone's lawn. It's just something that I truly love about this business, and is why I chose to make a career in it.
Nice. So Richard is asking another question here. He's trying to get you in trouble with your wife. He says, "Has your daughter said dada or mama yet? And if so, what did she say first?"
Says dada a lot, but she loves my wife. They're best friends. My wife dressed her up in 4 or 5 different outfits for Halloween. They
Nice.
are uh, they are Bonnie and Clyde. The two of them are having the time of their lives.
That's awesome. Well,
Yeah,
okay, so this one of my favorite things when the kids were little was their first time tasting Halloween candy. Did that happen this year?
so we didn't do Halloween candy, but I will tell
Yeah, she's
you,
only a year. Yeah, I get it.
yeah,
Yeah.
having cake for the first time and watching her get a little jittery was
Yeah.
amazing. Yeah, the big smile on her face. Yeah, my wife and her are best friends. It's really amazing to watch.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, so Daniel Bernstein is asking, how much do you pay drivers versus driver assistants?
Sure. Minimum wage, and this is a tough one because minimum wage in Massachusetts is $15 an hour. So
Okay.
starting wage, anyone who comes in the door is making at a minimum $15 an hour. Jim and I found a way to differentiate ourselves by paying a little more. It's amazing. You pay a little more, you get a little better quality, right? So
Hmm.
guys typically come in here 17, 18 years old, making 16.50 an hour to start. As a delivery assistant, they can move up to as much as 18.50. Drivers will start at 20. We have some event coordinators making as much as 30 and $35 an hour.
Hmm. Sweet.
Yeah.
So Pam Korsner is asking, what's one tip you
Hi,
can share
Pam.
for? Yeah, hey Pam.
Pam's
What's
awesome.
one tip you can share for finding staff going into a time in the world where there are not as many people who are interested in working, and possibly one tip for your marketing efforts?
Sure. Finding staff, tough, really tough. So there's a humongous paving company across the street from us. They put a yard sign out, starting pay $22 an hour to be a laborer.
Mm,
Really tough. I said, how am I going to differentiate Busy Bee versus the guy who wants to give $22 an hour? It's work environment. If
right.
if you're treating the staff with empathy, patience, kind, giving them a camaraderie, I'm amazed how friends will communicate to their friends, who will communicate to their friends, and bring people in the door. We communicate to a lot of our staff that we know is coming back for the following season a lot during the off season. We have a couple company events, and it's strategic. It keeps them all together because not every one of them lives together, or goes to the same college, or goes to the same high school. But we'll bring them together for a couple different things. We'll have a barbecue, a
Mm,
Christmas party, a kickoff meeting. And the kickoff meeting is strategically very early in the season before we
mm,
ramp up and have a high demand for staff. So these guys can say, hey, I went to my kickoff meeting. It was awesome. It was only an hour. I got to hang out with all the guys, got a burger, got a soda, hot dog, hung out with the guys. We bought some new stuff. Really excited for the year. We bring some enthusiasm and some excitement to the upcoming season. The guys know that they are in for a beautiful summer working with their friends on a really nice work environment, and then that just opens up a whole book of new employees coming in the door for us.
nice. So we've got another user who had asked, I don't want to, this question was actually a little while back and I don't want to forget it. They had asked if you could sort of describe your corporate structure a little bit, because with a company as big as yours, you're definitely going to have a pretty clear structure and chain of command, right? So can you give us
Yes.
kind of an overview of that?
Yeah. So over the last 5, 6, 7 years, we've worked pretty hard directing or clearly defining everybody's roles and responsibilities. Um, Myself, I believe I'm in charge of the marketing here, customer
Hmm.
retention, overall just oversight of the business. My best friend Woody is our warehouse manager. I really consider him an
Mm,
operations manager. He's seeing every piece of equipment go out of the building and come back in the building. He has a couple assistants that work beside him that help him load and unload the trucks. They then have an assistant underneath them, which are what I consider order pickers. They'll say, hey,
mm,
you got to go get that mod. You got to go get that big splash. You got to go get that obstacle course. We've got 6 or 7 girls that are in customer service that answer the phones, help with questions, book orders over the phone, help with our online text messaging app, and also communicate with our existing clients.
Mm-hmm.
Kylie, our general manager, I like to, and I mean this very complimentary, I call her the manager of everything. She is incredible. She's been with us over 10, 11 years.
Mm-hmm.
She helps me and Jim and everybody here stay in line. She's helping manage the call center. She's managing the accounts receivable. She's overseeing the marketing with me.
Hmm.
She's overseeing the contract room and logistics. My good friend Mickey, who's been with us almost 10 years, amazing. Watching him grow from a delivery assistant who didn't have a license, who walked in the door, to now running the whole board, what I call it, the war room, getting all our
Mm-hmm.
contracts out, scheduling them, is phenomenal. I couldn't be more proud of him, watching how much effort he puts in. We most recently hired a gentleman, Kevin, who helps us with logistics and scheduling. So
Hmm.
as you can imagine, with 125 guys, it's a massive undertaking to
Mm-hmm.
understand guys' schedules and get them here on time. Kevin is very type A, very disciplined, a wrestler by nature, was a wrestler in college.
Hmm.
Extremely disciplined. He stays on top of that stuff. Incredible. We have delivery drivers. We have delivery assistants. We have event coordinators. I'm forgetting one person in our office, a couple people actually. Carolyn Johnson, who's been with us 6, 7, 8 years. CJ,
Mm-hmm.
most recently got engaged.
Hmm.
Absolute sweetheart, heart of gold, but tough as nails.
Hmm.
She's got to be the best I've ever seen at handling a hot, irate customer. It's rare that it happens, but
Mm-hmm.
she is so calm, level-headed, and just amazing at running our call center and making sure everything is dialed in, checking in on all the big events to make sure all the details are tight. It's incredible. Julia Donovan helps us with our social media. We've really tried to take that to the next level in the last couple months. Julia
Hmm.
came on with us in May and has been amazing. She is a recent graduate, studied social media marketing, and she has a tall ceiling. She's going to do some amazing stuff for us. We're already working on some things for next season that I think are really going to kind of revolutionize our industry. You know, I think that people don't really understand all the effort and work that goes into the behind the scenes to make these events happen and make these weekends happen. But she's documenting that and putting together things that I think are going to show on TikTok, Instagram,
Hmm.
Facebook, and really speak to our clients.
Nice. Yeah, I definitely look forward to seeing that. I've been wanting to
Excellent.
learn more about TikTok in particular myself because I know all the hip, cool people are doing it, and I think that's kind of when I realized that I'm officially not cool anymore. I don't get TikTok, so I
I, I
look
I
forward to.
don't either. I don't have really any social media. I go on the Busy Bee one and see what's happening, but yeah, I'm out of touch. I'm a dinosaur when it comes to that stuff. But the girls in this office are unbelievable with it. Unbelievable.
Nice,
Yeah.
nice. So Chris Solo had asked if this interview is going to be on the ERS YouTube channel, and yes, it will be. In fact, it's already on there. So once the live stream is over, if you just go to our channel, you can just search for the Event Rental Systems YouTube channel. It'll be under the live stream section. Um, so we had another user ask, where do you purchase your equipment? And that actually dovetails really nicely with a question I was going to ask you. I was going to kind of draw you out a little bit more on the
Mhm.
question of purchasing at IAAPA, and then
Mhm.
ask you, like if you had to guess a percentage, like how much of your stuff do you buy at IAAPA
Sure.
versus, during, other times of the year, you might just call somebody up and say, hey, I need a water slide. So like
Sure.
about what percentage of your purchasing do you do there? And who do you buy from?
Sure.
And what are your kind of strategies there?
Yeah. Right now, the majority of the inflatables that we're buying are from Art and Eddie at Easy and
Hmm.
Ninja.
Hmm.
They're an amazing partner. Those guys have been instrumental in our growth, producing really great products for us. We also buy from Moonwalk USA, Tent and Table, Leisure Activities. Elena Harlow has been phenomenal. When the supply chain was completely disrupted, she went above and beyond to meet some delivery dates for us. With the seasonal business, I explained to her, in additionally, Art and Eddie, just unbelievable. I said to them, if it can't come by June 1st, it just doesn't make sense for us because those are our peak months. Otherwise, they're going to be sitting in the warehouse collecting dust. And I was blown away at the efforts they put forward last year with the supply chain crunch to get things to us. Pam at Tent and Table is phenomenal.
Hmm.
We buy a lot of our tents from Technology in British Columbia.
Hmm.
Those are amazing. And then I buy locally all of our Zuzu cab overs from one dealer. We just got off the phone this morning. We have 5 more in transit for next year. 6 more, excuse me, 6 more.
Hmm.
Yeah, so we're looking to grow our fleet. We had a fantastic 24-month run, and I definitely see an opportunity for some more growth.
Nice.
Yeah.
So what are as far as what you buy, that's my other question, the other kind of half of that question. We've
Mhm.
already kind of touched on not getting seduced too much by the fancy shiny
Yeah.
new things at IAAPA, right? Um so yeah, what are your kinds of bread and butter items that do the best for you? Both kind of the main inflatable, like kind of
Sure.
big ticket items, and your, add-on items like giant Connect 4, or, cotton
Yeah.
candy machines, etc.
Yeah. So it's interesting. Over the years, we have so much historical data, and ERS has such an unbelievable platform to go in and dissect that data. We're starting to learn that certain pieces of equipment are seasonal to our business, only operating 6 months a year.
Mhm.
In the start of the season, in May, in June, our obstacle courses are flying out the door. School events, backyard events.
Mm.
They then grow a little stale for July and August, and then ramp back up for September and October. Obstacle
Hmm.
courses like crazy. Our mod combos, our most consistent, most popular seller, they sell all year. We've been buying the wet dry combos that give you the option to put the hose on them.
Mhm.
In the summer months, those are fantastic. A mod is just what I consider the backyard staple, cost effective, open to anyone who needs to entertain 10 or 12 kids in the backyard,
Mhm.
not spend a ton of money, not break the bank. Um, and our water slides for mid to late June, July, and August going going out nonstop. It's
Mhm.
funny for us because in Boston it gets so cold in the off season. People don't party as much as you can imagine because it's so
Mhm.
cold. So what do? They cram it all into June, July, August, and September.
Right.
It's crazy how fast we go in those months. Whereas I've seen other businesses that operate in warmer climates be able to stay open longer. But for us, it's like 120 days of just full speed, 7 days a week going at it hard. We try and keep our inventory really, really tight. I've been complimenting Jim a lot because I truly feel, aside from him and I being best friends and being together for so long, he was a visionary. He saw when I went to IAP and I wanted to buy a strawberry shortcake or a Euro bungee,
Mhm.
to stay away from that one-off stuff, that stuff is going to fade in and out, and stick with the mods, the combos, the obstacle courses, and the water slides. So
Right.
rather than having 20, 30 different variations of a water slide, we like to keep it as simple as possible. It's easier on our warehouse team to identify one of 6 or 7 SKUs of water slides, one of 6 or 7 SKUs for the obstacle courses, simply a mod or a combo, throw a panel on it. Through our time in the industry, we found that character specific pieces just don't rent consistently. They just phase in and out based on movies and trends. And at the end of the day, happy birthday, 100 to 1 is our biggest seller. That's what
Right.
people are having. They're having birthday parties in
Yep.
their backyard, right? The old traditional American backyard birthday party. I had one. I'm sure everybody has had one. It may not be every year, but people see those mods, they see them for a reasonable price, and it's cost effective, and they never go out of style.
Right. Yep. Now, what about the add-on items like the cotton candy machines, the giant Connect 4, etc.? Because I
Sure.
feel like those items are really important for increasing your ticket sizes and your profit
Hmm.
margins.
Hmm.
So, which ones of those do the best for you?
Sure. So actually, what we did was our interactive line of equipment grew exponentially. We probably had maybe as many as 50 or 60 SKUs at one time.
Hmm.
And what we found was when we were bringing out the Connect 4 and all the other different interactives that had a lot of different moving parts, we were making a lot of mistakes on them and losing a lot of efficiencies because for example, the skee ball, we might have forgot the balls. If we brought out a sports arena and it had the joust pedestals, it had the joust sticks, it had every ball, it had the volleyball net, we would miss one of those. So we decided to, because we're too busy with our backyard businesses doing the mods, the combos, the water slides, to shrink that inventory down, really streamline that, raised the prices on it so it would only go out for the school events and the larger events, so we could pair them together and really keep a close eye on them.
Mm-hmm.
So what we did was shrunk down the interactives and then put an emphasis on tent, tables, and chairs, as well as food machines. We have found that we have an amazing food manager. He cleans the pieces beautifully. They look brand new out of the box when he's done with them. Those have moved a lot for us, and our tent and table and chair business has grown exponentially. It's a business of its own. I'm trying to think. We set up tents on Thursdays for the weekend, Thursdays or Fridays, and we're setting up as many as 80 20 by 20s during the week.
Wow.
Yes.
So we've got another user asking if you guys do schools with the pandemic going on, and saying in Washington State they did not have any schools that did it. I assume that means, they just didn't have any schools having the interactive equipment, or because they were worried about people touching things and whatnot.
Yeah. This year we saw the schools come back strong. A lot of end of the school year stuff in the spring, a lot of back to school, fall fairs. I was saying to a couple of our logistics manager and our fleet manager, Mickey, who also handles scheduling. I was blown away these last 4 to 6 weeks, how many same day functions we had coming home, a dozen a day. It was on a Saturday or Sunday. We were action packed. It was definitely exciting to see that they're coming back.
Yep, absolutely. Well, we are running pretty close to our end time here. We've got about another, I'll say 2 or 3 minutes here. If you can spare, a couple extra minutes, we're about 1 minute away from 2 o'clock Mountain. So yeah, I guess I just want to open the floor for you to just share any last little bit of wisdom, or just inspiration, or whatever you can think of for our viewers.
Yeah. First, I'm extremely humbled to be here and to be able to kind of share my story. I'm a guy who grew up always wanting to work for myself. It's something that drives me every day. I think working with my partner, Jim, who is my mentor, has been instrumental in my growth and the company's growth. So what I would say to anyone out there who's looking to grow and wants to provide a better life for their family, find a mentor, find that passion that drives you and gets you up every day, and really stick to it. And when you find that mentor and you find that person, show them some respect and find a way that you can reciprocate towards them. What I thought about when I met my business partner, Jim, was this guy's got 2 businesses. He's making good money. What does he need to partner up with a 24-year-old hothead for? I said to myself, if I could help his financial situation, maybe help with his kid's college fund, maybe help him grow as a person as well, we could learn together. And it's been an amazing run of over 20 years together. What I would say to everyone else, and I firmly believe this, I've got a lot of great friends who have done some amazing things in life, is never, ever let anyone talk down your dreams. Dream big and chase them and keep chasing them. Jim and I have a secondary business of real estate. And I remember when we bought our first multifamily together, people said, these guys are crazy. These guys don't know what they're doing. They're going to deal with so many headaches. And through consistency, being nice to people, we've grown that into a large business in itself. Dream big, try hard, and always treat people fair and have empathy and be nice to people, and you'll be blown away at the rewards that this industry can give you.
Sweet. Wise words, and thank
Thanks.
you for that. It's a great way to end it.
I appreciate
and
this
I just
so
want to
much.
say that I'm humbled as well. I really appreciate your time. I'm a big fan of both yours and Jim. I've learned a
Thanks.
lot from you guys, and really appreciate working with you. So really, thank you very much for your time, Sal. And
Thank you, guys.
it's always a pleasure talking with you.
Thanks. Have a good day, my friend. See you, buddy.
You too.
Bye.
So,